The next question that I have for you is that this entire experience, how has it influenced your approach to work and entrepreneurship?
So, you know, it took me for the first couple years after I got sick, I was angry. Like when I went back to work in 2000 and I mean when I went back, I was already working, but when I really when I was finished with the treatment and even during the treatment, and I at the time I attributed it to chemo, I would just say things I'd never said at work before. I would say, no, I'm not going to do this project because it doesn't make sense. Before I was afraid that if you go up against your boss, you're going to get fired or demoted, or you want to please your boss and you want to, especially as an Indian woman, you're taught to like draw between the lines. And, I've never been a shrinking violet. Like everybody in my family, including the ones who know me from India when I grew up, always thought I was outspoken. I was like a go-getter. But still, when I came to the US, I felt like I had to conform. You have to conform, you have to like find your footing and while I was going through chemo, I was having all these things going on at home. I would go into work, wasn't feeling great, but it was a distraction. It was a way to get through the day. I did a lot of things I could, I would finish my work in 6 hours because I knew that was my endurance and I was going to go get sick and I don't want to have issues at work. So I would rush home. And things, my CEO would be like, hey, I really need you to do this. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think it's a good idea. I would have never said that to a CEO of a startup. I would have never said, oh, you're actually wrong. This is not going to work. And here's why. And I noticed that people were listening to me rather than get yelled at or feel like, get sidelined. I actually started to earn the respect. And I thought, oh my God, all these years I've been, I started, at the bottom, obviously as an immigrant and as a master's student. And then I moved up to management, but it was always middle management. And then when I moved to Florida for my husband's job, I took several steps down and I worked my way back up to middle management. And I always wondered, what does it take to become executive? And it was it was not intentional. I just discovered that speaking my mind is what I needed to do. But then when I actually got my next job, and I love this place. They're taken care of me, but it's associated with cancer. So when I got recruited by another company. I took it even though I was like, it's not 100% fit, but I'm going to take it. But I went in and I was fearless. I think the number one thing that happened to me after cancer was that the realization that nothing at work that they could do to me or say to me would be worse than what I had already been through. And none of that matters. What other people think of me as a person at the end of the day does not matter. What matters is what I think of myself. Am I delivering on my duties as a mother, as a parent, as a, wife? Am I delivering my duties as an employee to this company? Am I doing what's best for them? And in the middle of it, if I had to deal with egos, it didn't bother me. It didn't mean that I lost it every time. I just figured out which battles to pick, and I did not let it ding my confidence. And so, but the first couple years, I was angry about the financial stress. Why me? The whoa, my God, it's me. Definitely was there. 5 years in, I kind of was like, you know what? I'm doing so much better because I'm confident and I'm fearless and I am just resilient. 10 years in, I look back and I go, I'm so grateful I went through that. It changed me for the better. It made me a better person overall. And post cancer is when I moved up into executive management. It was not something I was expecting. Ironically, on the 10th anniversary of my finding out that I have cancer, is the day I found out that I was going to be promoted to CEO of a company where I was working. And I just felt like it was like a cruel joke. I didn't believe it. I thought it was a prank by my boss that he was leaving and I was going to get his job and the board was going to approve it. And I actually thought it was a prank. I had no reaction. They're like, you should be jumping up and down. Why aren't you saying anything? And all I could think was, today's the 10th anniversary. I'm still processing that. It's so bizarre that it would happen. And I think the universe works in weird ways. But I'll tell you that if I could teach people all the lessons I learned having gone through this so that they don't have to go through it to learn it, I would do it. Like if I could capture this in a bottle or into a cushion and give it to people, I would, because the life lessons I learned going through all of this. It's not just the cancer, it's the financial, it's the societal, it's the, oh my God, am I just idiot? Am I an idiot to put myself in this fix? I could not help getting cancer, but I could have maybe planned better for my finances. The beating up you do for yourself, all of that, I put it behind me. And I would tell you that I have soared since. Like it's not just a, I did not expect to get on the 50 over 50 list. I did not get to be picked by the GB for the impact list. Last year, I got invited to join the Startup 20 portion of G20. So these are all things I never planned for or expected, but I'm just committed to my work and also committed to my family to make sure that my kids are prepared for anything.
That